Hey Run Junkies, we spend so much time, energy, and effort developing the physical side of our sport. We go out for runs all the time. We go for long runs. We hit the track. We might hit the weight room or do a yoga session, and we are constantly developing our bodies into a well-oiled machine. But what about this? How do we manage the mental side of our sport? What are we thinking about? What is the psychology of running? Recently, I attended a seminar by sports psychologist Dr. Justin Ross, who called out quite a few of these mental aspects of not only our training, but how we plan for race day. After his seminar, I was intrigued by this often neglected side of running, and I wanted to share a few of the just brilliant nuggets that I gleaned from this very short seminar. Now, when I think of the mental side of running, the first thought that comes to mind are just the adages. How bad do you want it? Be stronger than your excuses. When in doubt, go run. It's like finding the positive self-talk to get you through a run, but really, this is so much more than that. So maybe you've had this experience, for example. It's late in a race and you've been doing very well. You're very happy with your performance so far, but then your body starts to revolt. You start to notice every pain, your energy flags, and everything just starts to shut down. Your brain starts to hate every decision you've made in the last 5 months, and basically at this point in the race, you're trying to figure out why you even signed up for this thing in the first place. I have a personal word that I use for this because this is definitely a mental issue, and I call it the tailspin. Some people will call it hitting the wall. To me, hitting the wall is more of a physical breakdown because we are not nourished enough and not hydrated enough, and we get to that point that we've used up all of the glucose. That's a physical thing. But when that starts to happen, that's when the tailspin can start as well. When everything starts to hurt and our brain starts thinking and focusing on it. The trick is to notice that negative self-talk so we can talk ourselves back out of the tailspin. One of the things Dr. Ross said was that the longer you stay in that negative headspace, the longer and the harder you have to work to get out of that negative headspace and into something positive. But it is possible, so being mindful of where you are and how you are feeling is very important to our running. Now, one of the adages that Dr. Ross brought up that I really like and I really glommed onto, it comes from the ultra running world, but I really think it can be used in basically every circumstance ever in life. It never always gets worse. So what in the world does that mean? Let's unpack that for a second. That means that if at a certain point in the race you are feeling just absolutely terrible, it's not going to likely get a whole lot worse from there. In fact, it will likely get better. So we have these waves where it gets worse and then it gets better, and then it gets worse and then it gets better. It never is always getting worse. It might feel horrible right now, but the nice part about that, if it can be said about such things, is that it's gonna get better. He also uses the analogy of shining a spotlight. When we are in those really bad parts of the run and we're feeling terrible and we start to shine a spotlight on that feeling, we are focusing on the negative. We aren't paying attention to the positive things that we can be doing in that moment to get us through that section. And he uses the imagery of monsters, which is something I really like. You can decide which monster to feed. Do you want to feed that negative, that mental energy monster, that vampire that is just sucking the life out of you because you are telling it all of this negative self-talk? You're feeding that monster and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Or do you want to feed that positive monster and say, I can do this. This is something that I've trained for. This is hard right now, but I'm going to get through it. You feed that positive monster, that one gets bigger, and you find that tailspin, and you're coming out of that tailspin, and you are finishing strong. So once again, when we are mindful of our focus, whether it's positive or negative, it can definitely make a difference in either one of those directions. Now, it's easy to tune out the world and just listen to our music or our podcasts or our audiobooks. But when we do, we are missing an opportunity to listen to what our bodies are telling us and what our brains are saying. Now, many coaches will advocate never running with headphones, and I agree with that to a point. And I do understand that never running with headphones is really hard to do. Sometimes it's, hey, I just want to go out and listen to music and have a little bit of alone time. I mean, let's face it, sometimes it's the tuning out of the world and tuning into whatever's in our ears that just makes the run go by faster. I get that. On the other hand though, I would encourage you to turn off the audio and tune in to what your body and your brain is saying. Go out for a run, leave the music at home, listen to the rhythm of your feet, the rhythm of your breathing. Don't pay attention to what your pace is. Stop looking at your watch and just feel what your body is doing. Allow yourself to listen to yourself. Have a handful of powerful mantras, 1 or 2 word phrases, or just a thought that you can have on those hard parts of the run when your energy starts to flag. When things get tough toward the end of a hard workout, this is one of the phrases I use: I'm stronger than I thought. I'll also say to myself, I can do this, or finish strong, or let's go, let's get this done. The taglines for these videos, go find your awesome and happy running, they're exactly the right thing that you can use as a powerful, positive mantra, not just something cute that I say at the end of every video. I don't think it's any surprise that running can be tough, not just physically, but mentally as well. But I think it also might be a surprise that we are much tougher than we think we are. And if we can tap into that positive mental energy, we might unlock a potential that we never knew we had. We do that, and who knows what we can achieve. Now, these tips barely scratch the surface, and I do want to dig into this a little bit more as the summer rolls along. Later this summer, I'm going to be taking a 3-part webinar series from Dr. Justin Ross. I'm leaving a link in the description below to this webinar series if you are interested in joining me. Dates and information for that are in the description below, and please subscribe to this channel so you can get more about the mental side of our fabulous sport of running. So my question for you today is this: do you have a powerful, positive mantra that you use? And if you are willing, would you please leave that in the comment section down below? If you have any further questions about the mental side of running, please leave those in the comments as well. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. That is it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go find your awesome and happy running.